Friends, you're with the Lonesome Gamer, and today I'm gonna play 18EU by David Hacked. Now, this is a print and play copy. I think it was available at Deep Thought Games or Golden Spike Games, and possibly it still is. And compared to the games that I did recently, 18NL and 1869, 18EU is actually quite a classic. It had quite some influence on later 18XX games. I'm going to use the minor powers variant. This is probably the way that most people play this game today, and I think you can find that on BGG along with the files that you can download and the rules and all that. So let's set it up. So I've set up the game, and I also distributed the different minors. So let me explain a little bit what this game is about. Apart from your standard 18XX goal to be the richest player, the overall flow of the game is that at the beginning there are only minor companies. You cannot start a major company, and one of the reasons is that players simply have no money, at least in this minor company variant. So you have 15 companies. In a 4-player game there are 16. We're going to play a 5-player game here. So the first player simply picked one company of the 15 different companies, and the second player picked one, the third player, and so on. Then priority goes to the second player, and then he picks a company, and again around the table, and the third player then starts the last round, and then all the 15 companies are gone, and priority goes to the fourth player. So that was the distribution. I basically did that randomly. The reason for that is that the companies are usually very balanced. There is no auction, so there should be no big difference between the companies. Of course, there are companies with a much stronger ability than others, but the companies operate in a numerical order. And the company who has the lowest number 1, operates first, and they also are allowed to choose first in which city on the board they want to start. And then the second company will make that choice, and so on. So the later the company operates, the more likely is it that they will start on a not that great a spot, but on the other hand, they have a stronger power. So therefore, companies should be kind of balanced here. All the companies already have a 2-train, and in general, if you want to start a major company, what you have to do is you're going to have to buy the presidency of a company and then exchange a minor company for a third share of that company. So if you don't have a minor company, you cannot start a major company. Later in the game, that is possible. From phase 5, companies can be also started by simply buying the presidency, buying 50%, and then the company will fully capitalize. But that is something that happens only from phase 5. Until then, it's a partial capitalization, and as I said, you're going to buy the presidency and you have to exchange at least one of your companies for an additional share, and then the company will get the starting space of that minor company and all the other assets that were in it. So that also means that there are no fixed spaces no fixed starting spaces for the major companies. And as I said, there are also not for the minors. In the standard game there are. That explains why there are these different numbers here on the board. Number 5, number 10, and so on. But in the minor company variance game, this is not the case. The first company can simply choose between these minor company starting spaces. And that gives them obviously a big advantage. Now, before we start, there are a couple of other things I want to show you. We have 8 major companies. I don't know if I already mentioned that, but I don't think so. And we have a 2 train, 3, 4, 5, 6, and an 8 train. In addition to that, we have a Pullman, which is kind of a special thing. We're going to get to this when it will appear for the first time. We have lots of track, but actually not that much, because this is Larsen track, and I think this was definitely one of the very early games. I think there was 26, which was the first game with Larsen track, and I think the second one then was EU, but I'm not totally sure about that. And as you can see here, the special thing about Larsen track is there is no backtracking issue. If you enter from one side, you can freely choose in which direction you want to leave. And you have much less tiles of the green and brown type compared to your standard track. So only 4 green and 3 brown, and of course in addition you got your city tiles. It's interesting, we have 3 big cities, let's call them that way. We have Berlin and Vienna, which go up to 60 in brown, and then they cannot be further upgraded. There is no gray tile for them. We have Paris, which is the richest area, but you can see it's quite special. It doesn't connect to one big city, and it goes up to 80. And we have these gray tiles that also go to 60, and well, I mean, and then we have a lot of white tiles. These, but what's interesting about them, they only go up to 50. And what's even more interesting about them, in green, they only have a single space. And that is a very, very important thing to remember if you pick your starting locations here. So for example, if you go to Paris, which is a cool location because it has the most money, you can quickly make a connection to Brussels. There will be also another minor company, because all these numbered cities will then in the end be starting cities of minor companies. So you're going to have that connection. You're going to make quite a bit of money from Paris to Brussels. That's already 70 bucks. That's a lot. But you cannot expand from there on, at least not in yellow, because this city will be blocked. And yeah, so there is no way to go on. And if Paris is then upgraded to green, it's also pretty predetermined. It will In green it will look like this. So you're gonna have the option, for example, if you have number 1 here, if you sit in the north, you're gonna have the option to go to London, but then you're kind of stuck here between Brussels and Paris and London. So this is a thing, you know, is that really what you want? And this city here, the Y cities, only in brown, these will become double cities. Until then, these are blocked. And that's something you have to keep in mind. Another thing which is important about your planning is that I already mentioned that at some point these companies will convert into majors, and the major company, they will then get the special power of the minor company. So it makes sense if you have a company. Well, it makes sense to plan ahead, because you might end up with in a situation where, for example, 2 minor powers, 2 minor companies are part of one of your major company, and therefore, yeah, you want to have a good synergy with the special powers here, and that's not that easy to do. Now, honestly, I'm really not sure what I want to do with that first company. It has no special power. The special power is simply the first choice here. So do I want to go for Paris, which is probably the richest starting location, but then be blocked for maybe a very long time? Or do I want to go somewhere else? In a certain way, Brussels seems to me more promising, to be honest. I also have my connection to Paris. And if the player here goes there, but I think he probably will. So I got my connection to Paris. That's pretty safe. And in addition, I can still choose if I want to go to London or if I want to go here north or whatever. So there are... It seems to I feel more comfortable out here, to be honest, than in Paris itself. So I think Brussels is maybe the better spot for me, but I might also take a die here, and we'll see. Another interesting aspect here is this game. The dots in this game don't count against the range of a train, but they give you money. So this is dot friendly, and you want to have as many of them as possible. Also the ports, which are here, they also do not count against the range, but give you an additional $10. Also pretty good here. So I don't know, my feeling tells me that Brussels is a very strong location, and I think on a 1 to 4 I'm gonna place my token there. Yeah, it seems pretty solid, and I'm not gonna do that. Okay. Yeah, where will I go otherwise? I mean, Strasbourg isn't bad either. There are a lot of dots here, and I can still make my connection to Paris, but do I want to go to Paris itself, secure that? Well, maybe that's what I want to do. So I might consider that. On a 1 to 3, I'm going to go to, I don't know, man. It's hard to tell. I think on a 1 to 3, I'm going to go to Paris, and otherwise I will go to Strasbourg. Let's do it that way. Okay, so we're going to go to Strasbourg. So I'm going to place my starting marker here, and in the first round I'm allowed to lay 2 tiles. Now, another interesting aspect about these Y cities is there are no straight Y tiles, and there are only straight non-Y tiles. So this is also something we have to keep in mind if we start building now. So the question is, which way do we want to go? Do we want to go like this, so that we can make a connection to Paris and then build here into Germany? Or do we want to do it like this, so that we also have the option to go to Paris and then more south, maybe to Lyon? I feel I prefer Germany, so I'm gonna roll here and on a 1 to 5, I guess I will do that. And I will. So yeah, that's what we do. So the first one is placed here, and yeah, I'm gonna place the second one right here, because in my first turn I can lay 2 tiles, 2 yellow tiles. A minor company can lay 2 yellow tiles in its first turn. However, you know what the problem is with that? If I do this, I cannot run the train, and that's a bad idea. So I'm not going to do that. Instead, I will take the dot here and go to Stuttgart and make that connection, and then I can run my 2 train immediately for 40 bucks. So that means it is, as we know it from the minor companies, they always split the revenue in half. It's 20 for the company and 20 for the player. Okay, and this is it. Okay, now this here, the second company, has the port revenue. So they get an additional 20 to a port revenue. And I guess it's only it's an interesting question. Is it a single port? Or does that apply also if you have more than one port? I'm not sure about that. I think this is I think that only can be added to a single port. This gives a total for the port using a port on any route at 20 to port revenue if using a port on any route. So I think you cannot do that for more than one port. That would be very powerful. So again, I got to make a choice here where I want to go. It seems the obvious choice is Amsterdam, because I'm right away connected to a port. I then have the choice to either go to London, for example, or I could go to Hamburg. I think I want to go there. There are a couple of other ports here in the south, but they are not that strong, it seems to me. So I guess I'm gonna take Amsterdam as a starting location for my second company. Place that here. And now the question is, do I want to go south, connect a couple of dots, and then try to go to London? Or do I want to go east toward Hamburg, and then I don't know, with a goal of going to Berlin someday, or it's not that easy to tell, because this guy here in Brussels, he might close the door for me to London, and then I'm kind of stuck here. And if he builds simply a connection from London to Paris like this triangle here, there's no way for me to break in until green. And so maybe going to Hamburg is a more interesting choice for me. On the other hand, I could also simply try to go make a connection here and then toward Utrecht and go to Cologne. That's also interesting. It also gives me a bunch of money. I think on a 1 to 4 I'm going to go south. And yes, I'm going to do that. So let's again take one of these white tiles here. I'm going to place it like this. And as a second token, I'm going to Rotterdam. And I'm going to place that like this. So I can take a couple of dots here on my way to Cologne. I think that's not so bad. And that gives me now a lot of money already. We got 30 here. We got 60, so I run for 70 bucks. And that is 35 for the company. And 35 for the player. Okay, let's go to company number 3. This is down here. This is the tunnel blasting company. Now he receives 2 60-pound credits for building on mountains or Alps. Both credits can be combined to build a $120 Alp. After both credits are used, all further mountain Alp builds are at half price. If one credit has been used for a mountain, the other may be used to build an Alp for 30. Okay, so he gets these credits. Let me see. This is 120. This is 60, and that is 60. Okay, we're going to give him these 2 tokens here. These 2 mountain tokens. And the Alps are a little tricky. If you build here, they will usually cost you 120 bucks. But then what you have to do is you have to place a mountain token there. And if you want to upgrade this thing to green, you have to pay another 60 bucks. So building in the Alps is expensive, except for the mountain, for the tunnel blasting guys. So that is the question. Where do they want to start? It is sweet to have the option to build cheaper in the mountains, but honestly, these cities aren't that great, and I don't really see such a big advantage for that company. I think the main advantage is the early pick, and therefore I think I actually want to start in Brussels. This is such a strong city, and so I guess on a 1 to 5, I'm gonna start there, I think. Okay, yeah, we're gonna do that. So company number 3 now starts actually here in Brussels. And they have the option now to build that triangle, which gives them a lot of money. They could also try to take Antwerp in addition. So if they build this, they will have, there will be this company going here to Utrecht, but I'm going to be then before them again, and I will have the option to build my tile to Antwerp like this, and then I can build via Lille to London, and in that way I can make a lot of money. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to place a tile here. make the connection to Paris right away. And yeah, so now I can run for 70 bucks. Very good. 35 for the company, 35 for the owner. However, I'm not sure if I really want to go via Antwerp right now, because it gives me an additional 10 bucks, but I get the 40 bucks one turn later. So, you know, I think I don't want to do that. I think I prefer to get the 40 bucks earlier. So I'm going to build like this right away. And yeah, I think that's actually an advantage here. So then we come to company number 4. These guys are allowed once per set of operating rounds. They can place an additional yellow tile. Now it's important to note that every set of operating rounds in this game has 2 operating rounds all through the game. So first I thought, hey, great, this is amazing in the first couple of sets, because you only have 1 operating round, you can build hexes like crazy. Well, it's not quite like that, because it's always 2 ORs, but it's still pretty good. And I will actually also place a marker there, just a second. I'm going to use one of these markers here, just as an indicator that I didn't use the ability yet. So let's see where I want to start. Well, for them it seems like starting in Berlin could be pretty strong, because if you move down here, you can take a lot of money, and then you can move here to Hamburg and then continue this way. It's a long route, because you don't really get, I mean, Berlin is good. It's a 30 city, but it's not that great. It will go up to 50, to 60 eventually, but right now it's not better than any other Y city. But you have access to all these dots, and that is not bad at all. This city here is reserved for the owner of the 4. That is part of that's a special rule. So I would not be allowed to actually place a token here. Now, wonder if I can actually place that tile here. Just have to check that. So actually placing this tile here isn't so easy, because I have to ask the owner of this company here, which doesn't really exist. I find that a little confusing. It says you cannot place a tile here in the minor powers variant without consent of the owner here. So I think I'm not allowed to actually place the tile there until someone else starts his company there. But I realized that it makes no sense anyway, because I can simply go through Lille to London and get an additional 10 bucks, and that is even better for me. So I think company number 3 will instead go this way. The reason why you're not allowed to place a tile here is that it must be possible for the owner of this company to get out of Paris. And in the standard game, he is the first player, so that is not an issue. But in this variant, that is important. So yeah, this is a reserved hex, and so is this one here, so that this guy has a couple of more options. And then you have these gray bordered hexes here, and they are always, they are also kind of blocked for players that don't have adjacent companies here. So we have the interesting aspect that we also hold company number 1, which is here. So maybe it is actually a better idea to somehow find a way to work with that company. We could, of course, start in Paris and make a connection here, but the problem is then we kind of lose this cool ability of placing an extra yellow tile, because yeah, we are already stuck there very, very soon. So I don't really want to do that. The other option, I could, for example, start here in Munich. But again, it's kind of a waste. We would be close. So maybe I want to start in Berlin and try to build down here and maybe make a connection somehow like this, right? Going Magdeburg, maybe then build down here to Nuremberg, Augsburg, maybe Frankfurt. In this way, I could really use the special power and maybe can make a connection with that company. It looks like this could be a cool idea. So I guess I want to go with that choice. So we're going to lay our first tile here, and then we can lay so I can lay this tile as the tile that basically is my extra tile for the turn. And now I'm considering placing this one here, and then I think about moving south instead of moving north to Hamburg. I think about moving to Frankfurt instead. It's a little less, but as I said, at some point it might give me then the option to make a neat connection here. So I guess that's what I want to do. Okay, and I can run for 50 bucks. That's not quite as good as some of the others, but maybe in the end it is a good idea. Okay, then it's company number 5, these guys. And they have the option, each operating round allows a free passage for one train route through a city that is blocked by other companies' tokens. The bypass city does not count against the train limit, nor does it earn revenue for the operating train. So, you know, I think for these guys, Paris might be actually a really good choice. Because even if it gets blocked away, you can always get there somehow. And so the only question is now, do I want to start south or do I want to start north? And I'm going to have company number 7. So there will be one company from another player, which is number 6, these guys. So they probably either want to start in Munich or here in Paris, because then they have this triple connection here, these 3. That would be a very strong position for them. So the question is, does it give me an advantage to go to Paris and kind of cut them off here? Maybe. I mean, I will not cut them off, but I'm going to take the opportunity from them to go here. So I could do that. But do I want to? I think I want to start in Munich. because with that bypass ability, it is kind of connected to Paris, right? If there's a connection here, then I could run from Munich via Augsburg, this city here, and then go to Paris with a 2 train. So that looks pretty good for me. I think I want to do that. So let's start here. And I might go with the other direction. I'm flexible. I could also go to Prague and Vienna maybe. Or I might consider going to Dresden here via Leipzig and then maybe someday connect to Berlin. Who knows? So yeah, let's do this and go to Augsburg. But now you probably know that this is the city where I was born, and I always have to mention that if Augsburg comes up somewhere. Yeah. Okay, so it's now connected, and we're gonna place the number 4 right there. Awesome. And then we can run for 30, 40, 50, 80 bucks. That's quite a lot. So number 6 has an extra track upgrade, but not before the green tires are available. So it's not that super strong, it seems to me, but yeah. Okay, so they already have number 1 here, number 4, is that, wait a minute. Did I mix this up somehow? Wait a minute, I messed this up. This is number 4, which is located there, and this is number 5. So yeah, they are a little frustrated now because I guess they were hoping to actually be able to get that. That would have been very strong for them. Instead they chose Berlin. Maybe they should have chosen that one instead. It's hard to tell. So anyways, do they want to take Paris now? It is possible. I mean, the upgrade is not a very valuable ability at the moment anyways. So Paris might be a reasonable choice here. The problem is if I take Paris and I build track here, for example, then I'm not going to be able to build track with any of these 2 companies until green. The 1 will be locked and the 3 will also be locked. Is that really what I want? I don't know. I mean, having a token in Paris might be a good thing, but it's really hard to tell. In addition, the north of Paris is the better token because it gives you access to London. And yeah, as we know, there is the south of Paris only goes south. And in the end of the game, or you have an advantage in this game if you have a run which connects 2 off-board locations. So if you have the south of Paris, you have Paris, but it's basically impossible to get to an off-board location from there, which is clearly a disadvantage. Another interesting option could be Dresden. We could then build here down to Leipzig, toward Nuremberg, for example, and then kind of control all Germany with these 3 lines here. That one from Berlin, and then at some point there will be a connection to Berlin too. So that is also kind of an interesting choice. What about the south here? Italy? I don't know. I don't think I want to go there. So I think I'm kind of, I might consider going to the north of Paris, make that connection here maybe, or the other option would be going to Dresden and play on that long-term strategy to make that big company here, or one or two big companies that control Germany, which seems also interesting. So I don't know. I think on a 1 to 3 I'm going to take Paris, otherwise I'm going to take Dresden. Okay, so we're going to go with Dresden actually. This company here, number 6, goes to Dresden. It might not be that strong, but it's hard to tell. So do I want to go this way to Berlin? Let's see what this will, I mean, Berlin will be at some point like this. So yeah, I guess we want to go that way. Oh, like this probably. Okay. Or the other option would be that we go, well, no, we can't, because there are no straight tiles, so we could not go like this and then go to Berlin from the back. That won't work. So I think I want to go that way, make my way to Leipzig, and then maybe somehow go to Nuremberg, make a connection with Frankfurt maybe. We'll see. It's not the richest stuff, but it might become a powerful company. But I might be totally wrong about that. I don't have a lot of experience. I only played that game once, and it's been a while. So we only run for 40 bucks, which isn't great at all. So in general, this player doesn't make a lot of money right now, but I hope that it's kind of the long-term thing that will... Oh, it's 20 and 20. That will, in the end, give me the advantage here. It's a little weird, right? Because he has all these low-numbered companies, and you might say, hey, he's probably going for the big cities. But he isn't really. I mean, okay, he has here Berlin. That is a big city, right? But apart from that, he's more operating on these cheaper areas. Company number 7 is right here. And they get additional capital once per game. After this miner belongs to a major company, collect from the bank money equal to the major's current stock value and add it to the major's treasury. And then we can basically simply discard the company. Okay, so obviously it's not that important where we start with these guys. They have no, I mean, it is important, but it's not terribly interesting when it comes to a special ability. So where do I want to go? My first company sits here in Munich. Okay, I mean, now Dresden is gone. Probably Dresden would have been interesting for me. But now it's a little tough. I could go to Vienna. Problem with that is the mountains here, 60 bucks. You know, I don't know. If you are a minor company, 60 bucks is a big expense. And I don't know if I want to go there. It feels like this would have been an interesting place for the tunnel blasters, but I don't know. So maybe I go to Paris. It seems like maybe that's the best choice. I think I'm going to do that on a... Do I even want to roll? And what are the other options? It's hard to say. Maybe the other option would be Vienna, but yeah, it's a tough call. because at some point, if I want to make a connection, I have to blast through here. 60 bucks for a minor company. I mean, it's not that bad. They will have that money at some point, and then they can do it. But I prefer to buy a second train instead, for example. So I don't really think I want to do that, to be honest. I feel like I'm going to go to Paris here, and I have no clue where I can bring my third company, where I can place these guys. Maybe also in Paris if nobody else does it. But I think with company number 7, I will go to Paris, and I'm going to take the northern spot. At some point I will be able to upgrade and make a connection here, or maybe I will be able to go south here, and then I might be able to build around like this or something. We'll see. But that is at least an option. Right now I feel that it's, I mean, I could still do that. I could run down here and make a connection here, but does that help? Probably not that much. I think I want to go for now this way, and that gives me 70 bucks. That's all that company is going to do for now, but still, it's not a poor run. It's quite a bit of money, and fine, there you go. So that's 35 for these guys and 35 for the owner. Number 8 is sitting down here, and they have the option, once per set of ORs, they can upgrade an extra town, but also only when green is actually available. Okay, now this guy has company number 2. Okay, that's a problem, because here basically everything is already taken. So there is Berlin here in the north, but they go east, which is not great at all right now. I mean, they could go here to Warsaw, maybe, but I don't know if that is so great. I don't think so. So it seems, again, we have a choice to either go to Paris, but that's the south. Ugh, that's maybe not exactly what you want. Huh. That's a tricky choice now. It's getting harder and harder. The other option is to go into the south somewhere. What else do we have? We have the last pick, number 15. That is a permanent 2 train. That's a good company. But that's a great train. But the thing is that, yeah, we'll probably get only garbage with these guys. So it's really tough. Number 8. Where will these guys start? The extra town. It's not a big advantage right now, I feel. Later in the game it probably will be, but for the beginning it's not too impressive. These are really tough choices, especially because I will get the last pick. So I cannot... I mean, Paris is an option. I could go south, you know, and make 80 bucks, which isn't bad. I can go here down to Dijon, and then in the next run either go to Lyon or here to Strasbourg, and I'm gonna make 80 bucks. That's a solid amount of money. But then with my last company I have to pick what's left, and I'm scattered all over the place. Right, I'm sitting here in the north, here, and then out of nowhere. So that's pretty questionable as a long-term strategy. We're gonna make a lot of money right now, but in the end, meh. It could be interesting to say, hey, we start in Berlin, for example. Right now it's shit, but it will eventually upgrade to one big city in brown, And then we might be able to make a connection here, right? And make a run from Warsaw to maybe to London or something. I mean, if we control Amsterdam, we might be able to do that. But it's a long way till we get there, and we have to wait until this promotion happens. I mean, what we could do is, but this is, man, that's pretty painful. Technically, the option would be to say, okay, we go here to Stettin, and then along the north, the eastern, that sea here. I think it's not called, in Germany we call it Ostsee, but I think the English word is different. I think it's not East Sea. I don't know what it is. Anyway, you go like this and then make a connection to Hamburg. That could be an option, but it will take a while. So, But it might be interesting if we go with these guys, for example, to Dortmund here. But there is only a straight city available. But if we could also go to Utrecht and then continue our way here. I should have thought about that earlier. Now that's the thing. I thought about getting east with these guys instead of getting south. But now I'm sitting here and I don't really have a good second company pick here. Okay, I guess here's what I want to do. I'm considering going to Vienna here. I'm going to roll a die, and I think on a 1 to 4 I want to go there. Yeah, okay, that's a 1. So I tell you why, because first of all, it's not a terribly bad city. I mean, it will upgrade to a good city, right? And so we can run here, which is a good run. Problem is we're stuck here, but I see the problem here. If I go here toward Prague, I have to lay a straight city. That means I'm gonna have to break through here eventually. Otherwise I'm stuck. That's also not that great. Nah, I don't know. Shit, I don't know what to do. I think I'm actually going to start in Berlin. So I'm going to roll again here because Berlin seems to me more reasonable. On a 1 to 4, I'm going to start in Berlin. Otherwise, I have no... But I think I'm going to go for Berlin. On a 1 to 5, let's do that. Oh, fuck, it's a 6. Come on, this is horrible. So I think I'm going to start in Vienna then. My idea was to say, okay, we start here, run that thing for $70, which is a solid run. And then eventually we'll be able to make a connection here with these guys in the north. But okay, this is not going to happen. Instead, seems like we're going to go for Vienna. I don't know if that's a great idea, but I'm going to give it a go now. Maybe if nobody else picks Berlin, we're going to have a chance to... but I don't know what I can do here. I'm going to go with Vienna now. Probably not the best choice, but as I said, I really don't know what to do here. And I rolled a 6, so yeah, sometimes you make poor choices when you use a die to bring some randomization into the game. But okay, so we run for... yeah, that means I'm pretty much stuck here now, right? I can run for 30, 40, and another 20. If I go to Prague, and I think I want to go there... I mean, the other option could be to go around like this to Budapest. That would bring me another $10, but... okay, I'm going to run for... I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to run for $60. I mean, okay, in the next turn, after... So... In the next set of ORs, I can blast through here. Is it worth it? I have no idea. I mean, I cannot even run there, so it's probably a bad idea anyways. Okay. So it's... yeah, that's not great. So it's 30 for this company here. And another 30 for the owner. Okay. Company number 9, they get a train discount. So each operating round, purchase one train or Pullman from the bank at a reduced price. It's a 10% discount, and the value is written here. Company number 9. Now here's the extremely interesting position in which this guy is. He holds company number 9, 10, and 11. So he could build now maybe something like a big hub. He has the next 3 choices all in one. I mean, he can, yeah, that is a big bonus, I think. So what does he want to do? There is not that much left. That is his problem. But he could say, hey, I'm going to go to Paris, Lyon, and Milan, for example. The other choice would be to say, hey, we're going to go to... we're going to try an early run from Bucharest to Rome, for example. But it's not such a big advantage to do that. By connecting these, Budapest and Venice, there's maybe going to Vienna. So it seems powerful, but it really isn't. The choices that were made kind of limit his options quite a bit. So, You know, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to build this Italian railroad here. Milan, Venice, and Vienna. This looks like some interesting options here. For example, we can make a connection Milan down to Florence, Bologna, Venice, and we can make a lot of money that way here. That's not so bad. And down here, maybe going to Trieste, taking the harbor here from Vienna. I don't know, something like that. It seems like an interesting choice to me. The question is Budapest better than Vienna? I don't think so, to be honest. So I think the first company, does it make a difference? Well, what is the first one? The first one is the train discount. The second one is a longer train, which is super awesome. Maybe I want to have that one in Vienna, because then I can make a run from Vienna via Trieste to Venice. That is not bad at all. And I might be even able to take a couple of cities with me. I think that sounds very, very good. And we have a city value increase, which is also pretty nice. Great. So I think I want to have the longer train in Vienna. And, well, the train discount, I don't think that is super important. So I'm going to bring company number 9 to Milan. Yeah, I guess that is a little bit of an issue. Yeah, still I think it makes sense. So I'm going to bring company number 9 to Milan. Place this tile like this. And then for now, I think I want to lay a token here in Turin, and then in the next turn I can build something like this. But I want to make a run now. So yeah, we're going to place maybe it's better to go to Genoa. I think it is. So let's grab this instead. Because here we still have the option to grab the port. Remember, ports are free. So if we lay a tile like this, we get a run for, yeah, we could run for 30 for 60 bucks, which is pretty good, I think. So the second company will now be the guys from Vienna. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think it does. Yeah, I think I want to do that. So I'm going to lay a tile here, a token here, company 11. I have a longer train, but my goal is to go to Venice with these guys. So yeah, I think that makes sense. I'm going to lay this one and this one in Trieste, and I'm not going to go to the harbor. I want to go here. This is much more valuable. So that gives me 50 for now. And the last one, well, that should be number 10, by the way. Go ahead. There you go. And the last one is number 11, and we make this Venice. God. And now, sadly, we don't have a straight here. But we can go like this, and then make a connection here. Bologna. It's a little longer that way, but it gives us these two additional. If we go like this, I think it's still worth it. So let's see, we have this here, like this. And now we gotta, yeah, it kind of sucks, but yeah, wait a minute. I want this, because I want to take these dots, and then in the next run I can actually run from here using the dots till I get here to, what was that, Milan. I think that is pretty good, and both companies can use these dots. So that means the cool thing is I have a city value increase here. So that means I can add 10 to a city, and in brown I even can add 20. So that means I run now for 60 bucks. It's company number 12. They have a train limit increase. So they get one additional train if they can afford it. Now this time I'm actually thinking about starting here in Berlin. So maybe I can make the connection one day like this with Brussels. That seems like a solid plan to me. I'm not so sure where then my last company will start. That is the problem. There is Paris, Lyon, Budapest, and Berlin are left right now. So yeah, still it seems that probably Berlin is the best idea here. So on a 1 to 5 I'm going to do that. Yep, that's a 2. So we're going to start this time in Berlin here, but we have to go east. But it's not that bad. We can run here to Warsaw for, not in the first turn though, but still, this is not so bad. Stettin and Torn down here. Okay, so right now we run for 50. And then we got number 13. And they have an extra city upgrade. Once per set of our Rs, they can upgrade a city, but only if it is available. Okay, so this guy here has the 7 and the 5. So the question is now where to go. He could go again to Paris, but I don't know if that makes a lot of sense. I don't think I want to do that. So what's better? Budapest only runs for 60. And there's not a lot of room for improvement here because it's hard to hook up somewhere. I could go north, maybe, to a direction of Krakow and then cut through here. Maybe that isn't so bad. That could be an option, but in the end, nah, I don't think so. So I'm leaning more toward Lyon, or maybe even Paris a second time, but I feel it's gonna be probably Lyon. Or Paris a second time. On a 1 to 4 I take Lyon. Okay, that's a 6. So you know, I'm gonna take Paris a second time. Problem is I'm kind of wasting a token then, because not necessarily actually. You are allowed to have 2 tokens in Paris because they kind of stay apart. But the problem is you cannot run from Paris to Paris. So that means I'm gonna need 2 trains to hit Paris twice, basically. Yeah. Well, we'll see. So I'm gonna lay our token there anyways, and what I want to do is I want to grab Dijon, and then 1 turn later I can then go to Strasbourg. So I'm gonna move like this. And like this, and that gives me 50 bucks. So there you go. Okay, now this guy here, he gets a free Pullman, and yeah, I mean, he holds 3, 12, and 14. 3, 12 over there, and now 1 more. I don't know, maybe I should go with Budapest. It's hard to tell, but if I build north, maybe I can then one day hook up with Berlin. I don't know. And make such a big run like this across the whole map from Bucharest to London. That could be a neat option. The other option is Lyon. I can make a lot of more money here. Marseille, then here, this one, that will be already 30 bucks, and then I can continue making money here. Geneva, Basel, maybe hook up here. That looks much more promising to me. You know what? I think I'm gonna go with Lyon on a 1 to 5. And yeah, I'm gonna do that. So this guy starts here, makes its connection to Marseille, uses the harbor and runs for 60. And now the last company with the permanent 2 train, they get down here, Budapest. Nah. And that sucks. I mean, they have the 2 and the 8. Okay, I mean, that's not so terrible bad. They have the 8 here in Vienna. So if they upgrade this, they have at least a connection. And the 2 is up there. I mean, yeah, maybe it's not that bad after all. So, you know, I think, let me see what Vienna will look like eventually. It's gonna be like this, I guess. No, it's not. It's gonna be like, that's a little odd. You have to, that makes no sense to me. Wait a minute. So this has to stay like this, but then this goes up here? That is weird. I'm not sure how that... Wait a minute, is there another one here? Is that different? I find that very confusing. I don't really see a way how that... Okay, so we need something that goes there and another one that... Ah, I see. So it seems like this one will either go that way. It depends, right? That's a tricky thing. Probably there will be no connection to the east, I think, but that's a shame. Okay, anyways, so we have no choice here. I'm gonna build, I think I'm gonna build north for now and then probably toward Vienna anyway, and trying that I can hook up there as soon as possible. Probably like this. I don't really see what else I can do here. So we're at the end of the first OR, and as I said, there are always 2 ORs in this. I'm going to load this up now. I think it went pretty long. There was a lot to decide. That is, you know, if you can choose freely between 15 starting locations, that's pretty rough, and that takes a while. But okay, that also gives you, I think, some variety and some replayability, because you always have different combinations. That makes it kind of interesting, I think. Okay, so I hope to see you in the next video or on lonesomegamer.com. Bye.